So sometimes with the system of equation, when you add them together, it doesn't get rid of one of the letters off the bat. Like for example, this system, I pulled it from number 2 from your homework. If we were to add it as is, we would get 13x plus 8y equals 12, which isn't particularly helpful. It doesn't get us towards where we want to be. But if you'll notice, look at our columns really quick. 5 and 8, I'm looking at the x column. Those two numbers, they're not particularly close to each other. Like I can't think of a number to multiply to 5 to get to 8. Nor can I think of a number that you could multiply to 8 to get to 5. However, let's look at the y column. 2 and 6. Well, I'm thinking to myself, 2 times 3 equals 6. So I could easily multiply that by 3 and make it so that when you add them together, that would go away. However, if we're going to do that, we got to make sure that this is negative 3, right? Because 2 times negative 3 equals negative 6. And negative 6 plus 6 is going to equal 0. So let's go ahead and multiply everything in the top row by negative 3. So that'll be negative 15x minus 6y equals negative 30. We can do this because if you multiply everything by the same number, it all stays the same, right? It's just make sure that when you do this, you multiply it to every single number. That's one of the most common mistakes I see with these kinds of problems, is people are kind of too selective with their multiplication. So then from here, I'm just going to go ahead and copy down the other row the way that it's currently written. We can solve the way we did yesterday. Just add the columns directly. Negative 15 plus 8, that's going to be negative 7x. That'll be 0. And this will become negative 28. And then from there, it's easy to solve. X equals 4. Then from there, we can just plug it into one of the equations. When it comes to plugging it back in, I always like to pick the one that I didn't multiply things to. That's a personal preference. It will technically work with any of the equations, but I personally just like to do it to the one I didn't multiply to. So we're going to go ahead and just plug this into this equation. I'm going to write it down here, though. So we get 8 times 4 plus 6y equals 2. So that's going to just slide down a little bit. 32 plus 6y is equal to 2. (6y) is equal to negative 30. And then we divide by 6. We get y is equal to negative 5. Our final answer is 4, negative 5. So there's one example problem. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of just go over how to get this set up, because I think that's the tricky part. Once it's set up, it's just like what you did yesterday. So let's go ahead and just look at number 3. We get 3x plus 2y is equal to negative 8. And 10x plus 8y is equal to negative 20. And so once again, let's just look at the x column for a minute. We have 3 and 10. Well, I can't think of a number that you could multiply to 3 to get to 10. At least not a whole number. We could do a fraction. That would work, but I know fractions aren't necessarily y'all's favorite. So let's go ahead and just look at the y column. We have 2 and 8. Well, I'm thinking to myself that 2 times 4 is 8. And if we were trying to add these together so that this would go away, we'd want this to be a negative 8. Right? So, what number do you multiply to 2 to get to negative 8? You'd multiply to negative 4. So go ahead and multiply negative 4 to everything in the top row. So that'll be negative 12x minus 8y is equal to positive 32, and 10x plus 8y is equal to negative 20. Let me know if there are additional questions. I can do another example problems if you'd like. I'll go ahead and get that uploaded to YouTube now.